Jock's Cross, Brian Crowley. 2, Take Control, Tony McCoy. 3 is Atavistic, with Richard Johnson replacing Robert Widger. Number 4 is Smarty, Timmy Murphy. 5, Village King, Tony Dobbin. Number 6 is a non-runner. Number 7, Tour d'Af Express, Joe Tizard. Number 8, Flaked Oats, with Adrian Maguire replacing Sam Strong on this one. Number 9, Montreux, Leighton Aspel. 10, Hymn of Praise, Paul Flynn. 11, Lady of Gort Merron, Jamie Goldstein. And number 12, Riot Leader, Rupert Wackley.
Well, let's remind ourselves of some of the former runs of leading fancies here. The one-horse Jock's Cross skew. He was so brave, wasn't he, in winning the Coral Welsh National. But on this occasion, it must be remembered that he did come in bleeding from the nose.
Yes, obviously didn't affect him. I think if it does affect them, they stopped. I mean, sometimes you breathe from the nose and it hasn't actually gone into his lungs. But it was a terrific performance. He turned the form round with his second and the third horse that day.
Your moral support, who's the brother, half-brother to Doran's Pride, of course.
Absolutely slaughtered him the time before, and now he's turned it around. A great training performance, as you would expect from Venetia Williams, as the horse is still in very, very good form. And we'll be able to have a look at him in the paddock just to see how he has taken the race, and a very delighted jockey. There is the horse. He still looks very well, doesn't he?
I always say he's a little horse, and Jill Harrison, who owns him, comes up to me and says he's not small, but he's a well-put-together, stocky individual, isn't he?
That's right. You wouldn't want him stood in your toe, would you?
No,
he's that big, isn't he? No, as you say, he's because of his stockiness, he doesn't look that tall. But I often say that Venetia Williams gets a lot of muscle across the top of her horses, the way she works them across the hills there, and you see great muscle lines on him, and it's a great credit to her.
Isn't he a great walker? And look at that backside. A lot of power there. Well, let's have a look at another one. We've got to think back a couple of years to this one. It's Hymn of Praise. Now, General Wolfe, who runs today at Centre Park, falls at the last. Good to see him coming back into action because they had retired him. And in the black and red colours skew, it's the mare Fiddling the Facts, owned by Bunny Roebucks from Jersey. But Hymn of Praise comes off the pace, and that's what he needs. He doesn't want to be in front too long. That's right.
I mean, he is an out-and-out stayer. So there's General Wolfe just having a tumble at the last. And as you say, he is an out-and-out stayer, but he needs a good gallop, needs horses to lead him for a long way. And I suppose he'll get that today. They'll go a good enough gallop. It just is a question of whether he can recapture that form. He's dropped a long way in the weights since his heydays. He's had 2 runs this season, but I was quite fast a long time ago, but I've slowed down a lot since then. It's just a case of whether, at 11 years of age, Hymn of Praise can capture his form and speed that he had a few years ago.
Well, Oliver Sherwood says he's as well as he can get him. Let's have a look at the market, see what clues are coming there. Now, Smarty is 130. He was beaten last time, you know, under 12 stone, carried a lot of weight. So I think he's a deserved favourite. But the mare, Lady of Gort Merron, from your stable skew at 4-1. She stays, she goes in the ground. She's got all of the characteristics you need. Jock's Cross is 13-2. Take Control is 8-1, the pipe runner, along with Tour d'Af Express, who ran a good race last time. Hymn of Praise, 12s, 14 Atavistic. He jumps well, but he's got an aversion to open ditches. Village King is 14-1, the same price as Flaked Oats. Stays forever, that one. Montreux, the grey, at 14-1, and then right out to number 12, Right Leader, at 33-1. Rupert Wackley and Tom George, that combination there.
Well, I've gone down to the saddling boxes and had a good look at some of these horses, and a few of them look really well. Hymn of Praise is a lovely big horse. Jock's Cross, who's just going along behind me, is tiny. I mean, he really is a small horse, but he's very, very brave. Well, the chairman of Uttoxeter Racecourse is Sir Stanley Clark. And Stan, since the last time we spoke to you about a year ago, you've been knighted.
Yes.
And you've also bought how many racecourses?
Well, I've keep adding for Bath and Hereford, and I think they're the extra 2, but Sedgefield's on the way, you know.
So you've got a fair few now, haven't you, in your portfolio?
Yes, I have, and we mean to invest heavily and make them more successful and give them the best customer service and help racing with more prize money and all the good things in racing.
And what do you think would be the biggest change that you could make in racing to encourage more people to come, and what would your message be to potential racegoers?
Well, I think we all have to invest in better management. and recruit, not necessarily from within racing, but from out of racing, and bring in new ideas, new enterprise, and compare ourselves to other industry and pay them top dollar if need be to get the right people in.
Exactly, to make it much more business-like. Now, what are your other plans for Uttoxeter? I mean, this is a big day for you, but you've also got the Midlands Grand National. I mean, you've got some really good race days here now.
Yes, we have. It's moving forward all the time, and we continue to invest. You can see the new parade ring here looking fantastic, and we've got big plans for next year, more stands, more boxes, more restaurants, and more prize money.
Now, your colours are well known as a racing owner. You've got some very good horses in your care. Lord Galeen, who's now with Martin Pipe, and Barton. Now, what's the news with him?
Well, it's not good news, really. When they got home from Cheltenham, they found he hadn't been passing his water properly or his bowels, and he was dehydrated very badly. And we still haven't got to the bottom. I think when I say it's serious, I don't know if it's serious or not, but it's certainly a nuisance, and they haven't bottomed it yet, but it's not good news.
Well, let's hope that the vets find a cure for him. Now, what about this race? It looks a very competitive field. What's your own fancy in this? If you could own one runner in the field, what would it be?
Well,
there's Smarty in there as well.
Knowing my form this
Cross.
year, but I think that number 2, let's Take Control, and Lady, I think number 11.
Oh, Lady of Gortmerron.
Yeah, I fancy her, so I wouldn't mind owning her, because I'm sure she'll make a great paddock mare one day as well.
All right, well, Stan, thanks very much for joining us, and enjoy the race, enjoy the rest of the day here at Uttoxeter.
Thanks for BBC coming here.
Well, thank you. So Stanley Clark, who is the chairman of Uttoxeter Racecourse, and also one of the things he's done, which really amuses me, he owns Newcastle and Brighton, and they have reciprocal memberships. So if you're up in Newcastle and you go down to Brighton, you'll be a member there as well, but it's quite a long journey. Well, these horses really do look well. Some of them have got great big huge feet as well, which I think they're going to need to get round with that heavy ground, and one with particularly big feet, in fact, is Take Control, Martin Pipe's horse. So let's join Richard Pittman and Peter Scudamore again to find out what they make of them.
Yeah, that's Take Control. He's got some decent form over fences, but he is still a novice. He also had some good form over fences. I think he's got plenty of weight for what he's done, really. 11 stone 6 on his back, but he is a horse with obvious ability.
But, Skew, you know, Martin Pipe's done it a lot in the past, running novices in handicaps and lifting the prizes.
Yes. I was trying to be facetious. Yeah, but I think he's got a lot of weight for what he's done. He's beaten a long way by Bacchanal last time. You know, I just think, not saying he can't win, I think it's a tall prospect with 11 stone 6 on his back.
Okay, well, there's the trainer, Martin Pipe, and just going to give the leg up to A.P. McCoy. But I think, and Skew and I were talking earlier, that weight in this sort of ground, weight is so important. It's so hard, over 11 stone, to carry those extra pounds.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I'm quite fond of our horse, Lady of Gortmerron, one of the 2 greys running in the race. That's her in the far corner there. I mean, she's only got 10 stone on her back, and she wasn't a too bad a hurdler. No, we just moved by her. That's we move on to Hymn of Praise there, and Smarty there. Smarty, you would know better about Smarty than me. I just thought, though he was impressive his first run, he disappointed me a little bit last time. I know he was second at Fontwell, but is that form good enough to win here?
Well, he had 12 stone on his back, you know, that day, and he made so much of the running. It was just arduous. Just think he got slightly bored. He only got caught on the post,
yeah,
you know.
and it's that hill at Fontwell that will catch them as well, isn't it? Yeah.
But he's won here, and there's no reason why he shouldn't run again. I think this is a real Martel Grand National horse, and a reminder, of course, the weights come out for that on Tuesday. Timmy Murphy on board. Smarty, who just needs these blinkers just to tighten him up a little bit. Well, that one trained by Mark Pittman, but Oliver Sherwood is the trainer of Hymn of Praise, the one that we saw earlier on, Hymn of Praise, and there is Oliver with Claire.
Well, with me, Oliver Sherwood, Hymn of Praise has just walked out. I must say he looks very well, and of course 2 years ago he won very well here. He went to Liverpool as just about favourite for the National, but since then his form's rather tailed off, and he's been put up by one of the papers today as a decent shot here. What's your view?
Yeah, I'm glad the extra rain's come. He almost wants it unraceable. He wants every yard of this trip. He wants further, in fairness. Now he's got a bit older. We always lose a bit of toe, you know, as we get older. He's had problems training. When he was second in the Beach Chase last year, he came back and he actually went off a bit of hunting, got a leg out hunting for the second time. So he's a little bit on borrowed time leg-wise, but both his runs this year have been over an inadequate trip. I wanted to run him in the 4 mile at Cheltenham. That got abandoned, so we went to Warwick over 3 miles. It's far too sharp around there. This is more like his strip and his ground. He's on a decent mark now from what he was 2 years. If he produces his run 2 years ago, he's got a tremendous chance. I've just said to Paul Flynn, he hasn't ridden him before. I said, don't give up on him. Even if you're sort of 30 lengths down coming into the straight, you'll be in the shake-up, I can promise you that. So I said to Paul, I said, on one condition, I don't want you to be able to talk to me when you get off that horse, because if you can talk to me, you haven't done your job properly. Thank you very much. Cheers, Jonathan.
That's Oliver Sherwood, the trainer of Hymn of Praise. With me now, the trainer of the favourite Smarty. This is Mark Pittman. Now, sometimes you get a bit nervous before a big race, which is a good sign. Are you nervous?
Yeah, fairly. I'm chewing my way through a packet of cigarettes so far today.
It's not a very good advertisement. But tell us about Smarty. He had a lot of time off the racecourse, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a very good novice chaser. I think he won 4 of his first 5 over fences, but he struck into himself when he won here 2 years ago. We gave him plenty of... It was a very serious injury, and we gave him loads of time off. Came back and he won his comeback race at Leicester. And I thought he ran a super race last time at Fontwell over this sort of trip. He had 12 stone, and he just got touched off ahead by a horse off 10 stone 4. So he's got to have a good chance. My only concern is the ground. The horse worked as good as I've ever seen him work on Wednesday. But the ground today, we never thought he'd go on desperately heavy ground as a youngster. But as he's got older, he's got a bit stronger. So that's given me a bit of hope. I think he's probably got a favourite's chance, you know.
And he certainly jumps well enough. I mean, you consider him to be a good Grand National prospect, don't you?
Well, that's his main target, yes. I'm fortunate enough to have 3 in the National this year, which the weights are announced this week, so that'll be interesting. But this is a big race, and we've trained him, you know, he's trained to the minute for this, and big payday, hopefully. So he's here to try and for his life.
OK, well, don't get too nervous. Thanks for talking to us, Mark, and good luck.
I'll just go for another ciggy.
Oh, no, go on. It's just like his mother. Anyway, let's have another check on the market with Angus, because I should think this is a pretty interesting betting race, isn't it, Angus?
Well, Smarty and Lady of Gortmerron are the favourites, joint favourites now. Lady of Gortmerron, they took the 4-1. It's now 7-2. Jocks Cross, weak in the market, 13-2, out to 7-1 with Toured Off Express an 8-1 chance. Take Control, they've done the 9s that, it's now 8-1. And this Hymn of Praise, very popular in the offices at 25-1 this morning. And open here on the track, saw some 14, 12 now, and 11-1 that Hymn of Praise. Atavistic 14-1, Village King 14-1, Montreux 14-1, Flaked Oats is a 16-1 chance, and Riot Leader is 33s. But it's interesting, Smarty was well back this morning, Lady of Gortmerron's been well backed on the course, and Hymn of Praise is the major mover outside the front few in the betting, now 11-1.
Lady of Gortmerron by Orchestra, at Tara Grey by General Ironside. That's where the grey comes, not from the stallion skew.
No, as we were saying earlier, a lot of the orchestras are dark horses. But this is an attractive grey, isn't it? Grey is always an attractive colour to a lot of the race goers. She's a lovely filly. She seems to have come to herself this season, and if she has improved a little bit, then she'll go very close today. Well, I respect the chances of Smarty very much. I think the £13 that he has to give Lady of Gortmerron could just tell in the end.
Can't stress enough that every pound over 11 stone counts double or treble at the end of a race like that. Lady of Gortmerron, ridden by Jamie Goldstein, of course, won the Hennessy. Big year for him.
That's right. He knows how to ride in the soft ground. It was nearly as heavy that day, wasn't it?
It was. But she is the only mare in the race, but there are others, of course. 11 runners now that Lance Armstrong doesn't go. We're looking for Toured Off Express, which is on the far side there, in the 2+2 colours. 2 very similar colours here. Hymn of Praise is also quite similar skew. But this horse last time put up tremendous run.
Yes, been second to Gold Cup Hope Marlborough, who we hopefully will be able to see on BBC television next week in the Aeon chase at Newbury, where it's putting up a Gold Cup trial. So that is a terrific run last time when he was second to Marlborough at Cheltenham.
He was getting a stone and 11 pounds, of course, and that was the first time they blinkered him, and that was a good run. So they've kept the blinkers on. They obviously think it just will make him concentrate. The thing that blinkers do, it makes it an easier ride, doesn't it, for the jock?
That's right. It makes them go and makes them a little bit braver at their fences sometimes, and that takes them up what we call up on the bridle. You know, it makes, as you say, it just makes things easier for them.
He's got 10 stone 10 on his back, and Joe Tizard. Well, what about Flaked Oats? Now, Adrian Maguire rides this one. By Oats, as you'd get from the name, stays forever. Won down at Wincanton earlier on, didn't he, when Ad Hoc fell at the last?
Yes, you have been telling us how old you are and the colours that you rode in at Newbury earlier. I actually rode one on this Flaked Oats' dam. That's how how old I am. Polly Toodle. It wasn't quite as good as Flaked Oats, but she's produced a very decent horse, as you say, in Flaked Oats here, who that was good form at Wincanton, because King's Road, who went on and won the Hennessy, was behind him that day.
Okay, well, what about Village King? In probably the most famous colours of all in this race, and they are the colours of Bill Edwards Heathcote, of course, owned Bueller, won 2 champion hurdles. Now, this again, Philip Hobbs trains a real good stayer, but what about the ground?
Yeah, I just question whether he will get this trip. He's never won over a trip as far as this. He's flat race bred. He's by Roy Danzig out of a Blushing Groom mare, so you would just put a question mark over his staying. But Tony Dobbin was speaking to Claire, and he will tell us how he stays.
Okay. Well, Tony, how do you sum up your chances in the big race on Village King?
Yeah, I think he's got a great chance on old form. He's a little bit of a character these days. I rode him the last day in Haydock, and he ran a sort of in and out sort of race. He was up there for a long time, then dropped himself out a little bit and flew at the finish to finish second. The trip will suit him, and the ground won't bother him. So if he's on an on day, he'd run very well.
Worry a bit about the ground. Most of his form's on good or faster ground, but he has shown he's got some form in this. Second and Overlord, of course, was favourite. They're away, John.
21 fences in this 3.5-mile Singer and Friedlander National Trial. Flaked Oats, one of the early leaders, with Village King, Tour Duff Express right there on the inside in very similar colours. Hymn of Praise is the back marker. As they jump the first, they're all over that, and Village King shows just in front now of Flaked Oats on the outside, and on the inside Tour Duff Express. They're followed by Lady of Gort Merron. Then racing with that one is Riot Leader. Then on the inside, the Welsh National winner, Jock's Cross, racing with Atavistic, then Smarty just a little bit wide of them. Quite a long run to this second fence, which is the first of 4 in the straight. And they've covered about 1/4 of a mile, and Flaked Oats landed in the lead, just from Village King, Lady of Gort Merron, then Riot Leaders close up with Tour Duff Express on the inside as they come to the open ditch, fence number 3. Flaked Oats touchdown just ahead of Village King and Lady of Gort Merron. Then Riot Leader, Tour Duff Express, Jock's Cross, Take Control, Atavistic, Smarty, then Montreux, Hymn of Praise already being pushed along. This is going to be a very hard ride for Paul Flynn as they jump the next fence. Village King still disputing the lead with Flaked Oats as they come to the 5th. Village King, Flaked Oats, Lady of Gort Merron, then Tour Duff Express, Riot Leader and Atavistic and Smarty on the outside. Then Take Control on the inner, Jock's Cross, Montreux, and with the exception of Hymn of Praise, they're very tightly grouped, and they've got 2 circuits to go still. And Village King and Tony Dobbin are out in front. Flaked Oats, Adrian Maguire within a neck of that one. Then Lady of Gort Merron out a bit wider. Tour Duff Express, who favours the inside. So does Tony McCoy, tracking that one on Take Control. 4 to jump down the far side. And still disputing the lead, Village King and Flaked Oats. Then Lady of Gort Merron, Tour Duff Express, Atavistic. Then Take Control, Jock's Cross, and going to what used to be the water jump here at Uttoxeter. There doesn't have to be a water jump anymore. There used to have to be one on all courses, but Uttoxeter have abandoned it, and Flaked Oats led over that from Village King. Then Take Control's taking closer order on the inside. Doesn't look it from that angle, but the angle will change in a minute. Lady of Gort Merron's there on the outside with Atavistic. Then Tour Duff Express as they jump the 3rd of the 4 fences down the far side. And still Village King and Flaked Oats. From Tour Duff Express, then Atavistic. Between the pair of them is Riot Leader. Lady of Gort Merron still very prominent on the outside. Then On the outside also is Smarty. They've completed one circuit, coming now to fence number 9 of the 21. Flaked Oats and Village King together. Mistake by Rat Leader. Tordaf Express is in 3rd place. Then Take Control disputing 4th, with Lady of Gortmerron on the outside and with Jocks Cross on the inner. They're followed by Atavistic. Then comes Smarty. Then Rat Leader, who's lost ground, racing with Montreux. And they've got 2 miles still to race. And they're really kicking on now as they come to the 10th. You can see Hymn of Praise, apparently hopelessly tailed off, but he has come from some astonishing positions in the past, but he's 200 yards behind the leaders as they come to the open ditch for the 2nd time. And the leader, Village King, by a length from Flaked Oats. Then a whole group of them disputing 3rd, Tordaf Express, Take Control. Then Atavistic. The one getting reminders is Lady of Gortmerron. They're followed by Jocks Cross as they come now to the 2nd last on the next circuit, will be. And disputing it still, Village King and Flaked Oats. Then Take Control. Lady of Gortmerron has responded to pressure and has come up into a good position again as they jump the 13th. Village King still in the lead. Flaked Oats just getting a reminder from Adrian Maguire. Then Take Control, passed for 3rd by Atavistic on the outside. And between the pair, Lady of Gortmerron. Then Tordaf Express and Jocks Cross. Smarty off the bridle, about to get a reminder. A big gap then to the hard-ridden Montreux and Rat Leader. And even Hymn of Praise can't possibly win from there, you would think. He's lost even further ground. So turning down the far side with 8 to jump, and the order is 1 Village King, 2 Flaked Oats, 3 Take Control, 4 Atavistic, 5 Lady of Gortmerron as they jump 8 out, then 6 Jocks Cross, 7 Tordaf Express, 8 Smarty, 9 Montreux. Rat Leader's pulled up, but still going is Hymn of Praise as they go to the 7th from home. And Tony McCoy moving Take Control up on the inside of Village King and Flaked Oats. Take Control touchdown just in front of Flaked Oats and Village King. In 4th place, Atavistic. 5th then is Lady of Gortmerron, and they're well clear of Jocks Cross and Tordaf Express as they go now to 6 out. Take Control just in front as they come to it, and he's over ahead of Flaked Oats, Village King, Atavistic and Lady of Gortmerron, and they're well clear as they go to the last on the far side, the 17th of the race and the 5th from home. And Take Control and Tony McCoy. Smarty's been pulled up. Take Control and Flaked Oats by 3 or 4 lengths from Atavistic. Village King has lost ground in 4th. Lady of Gortmerron is back in 5th. Take Control leads over that, and Lady of Gortmerron is down. She didn't quite fall, but gave Jamie Goldstein no chance, and Take Control by 2 lengths from Flaked Oats. Tony McCoy and Adrian Maguire, they're well clear. Richard Johnson in 3rd on Atavistic, and Village King is a distant 4th. But galloping on strongly in front is Take Control, this horse by Roselia, whose horses rarely stay and act in soft ground, and Take Control comes to 4 out. Just steadied into it, just brushes through it, but never looked like falling. Flaked Oats 2nd, Atavistic takes it 3rd, then Village King as they come now to the last open ditch, the 3rd from home. Take Control's increased his lead, if anything. He's well over that from Flaked Oats in 2nd, and they're a long way clear. Atavistic in 3rd, and then Village King, and amazingly Hymn of Praise has got into 5th place as they come now to the 2nd last, the 20th of the 21 fences. And Take Control, he's down. And Tony McCoy literally stepped off him. A very soft fall for the champion, but that's left Flaked Oats well clear of Atavistic, Village King, and Hymn of Praise is running on as they come now to the last. McCoy has remounted Take Control, but in hopeless pursuit of Flaked Oats, who jumps the last, very tired, but still a dozen lengths in front of Village King and Atavistic. Then Hymn of Praise, who's really staying on as he always does. Flaked Oats is very tired, but he's going to hang on all right to win the Singer and Friedlander National Trial. Flaked Oats the winner, Atavistic is second, Village King just holds, Hymn of Praise for third. Back in fifth is Take Control, who was remounted, and none of the others finished. So the result is a win for number 8 Flaked Oats, owned by P. Swaffield, C. Twistlethwaite and S. Frost, trained by Paul Nichols, 54 of the season for him, and ridden by Adrian Maguire. The 20-to-1 winner, and a lucky winner it must be said. Second, number 3 Atavistic, owned by Mrs. Jill Emery, Mr. A. Staple and Mr. E. Morris, trained by Philip Hobbs, ridden by Richard Johnson. Third, number 5 Village King, owned by Captain E.J. Edwards Heathcote, trained by Philip Hobbs and ridden by Tony Dobbin. Fourth was Hymn of Praise.
Well, there is Take Control, who no doubt would have won but for tipping over. I can't agree, as brave as it was for Tony to get back on the horse, nothing to gain, and had the horse split his hind legs as he went down and done something inside, you won't know until you get home. But let's just relive this. I mean, the horse, he'd given it a great ride, he'd got some great jumps for a novice skew, and he had the race at his mercy.
Yeah, I can't remember quite what happened. I mean, the second, he's got his ears pricked, he's still going very well. He's just fiddled a little bit in, just got a little bit short and tired in that ground. I mean, he would have won, but I mean, you know, obviously tired up that distance, and he just isn't able to get his legs out in front of him. That is a little bit of an awkward fence, the second last there. You do get horses that turn over a little bit at the last, but here is, I was going to call her Polly Toodle, but here is Polly Toodle's son, Flaked Oats, galloping away to a famous victory at a big price. But even he is tired at the last, and just for a minute up the run in here, you were worried that he was going to get caught, but he's absolutely exhausted. Atavistic running on a solid race to be second, and the other Hobbs horse, Village King, holding on to third place.
An old Hymn of Praise, of course, running on, having been off the bridle all the way, just going past there. Here is the winner, of course, though, Flaked Oats by Oates. Used to stand at Cobble Court Stud of Robin Scarlet Knipes, and he's a 12-year-old now, you know.
Yeah, very often as they get older, the stamina in these horses improves. But let's have a look at the SPs.
First, number 8, Flaked Oats at 20-to-1. This one isn't in the Grand National. Second, number 3, Atavistic at 16-to-1. And third there, number 5, Village King at 14-to-1, 11 rounds.